Hi, it's Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead, where today we're going to be making jellied cranberry sauce. Now, in order to make this recipe, we need whole cranberries, and I bought these at my local Meijer store, and they weren't very expensive. They're great to have. They usually have them, during the Thanksgiving holiday or the Christmas holiday, where you can pick up extras. You can also take this bag and throw it in your freezer, and you can freeze it. I usually put it in a Ziploc bag, and it can last for several months. We do need to go ahead and talk about, we are going to need a candy thermometer for this recipe because we are going to be boiling our cranberry sauce to the jelly point. But just to make this cranberry sauce, we are only using water and sugar and cranberries, and that's how it should be. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to take our cranberries, 4 1/4 cup of whole cranberries, and we're going to wash them and drain them in the sink. The cranberries are all washed. I'm going to go ahead and now put them in a pot on the stove. The cranberries, I've put them in the saucepan. I put in 1 3/4 cup of water. I've got my heat on about medium-high, and we are going to boil the cranberries until their skins burst. The cranberries and the water are now kind of boiling. You can hear some of the cranberries popping. We want to again get all of them to pop. I don't know if you can see it with all that steam rising there in the pot, but some of the cranberries there, you can see their skins where they've burst open. We want to have that all over, and then we will take it off the heat. So you might want to just stir just a little bit. Again, we want to get all of them as much as we can over there, popping and cracking. All right, looks like all of them definitely look like they're all cracked open now. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off the stove. I've taken some of the cranberries from the pan, and we're going to put it in a fine mesh sieve. If you have a food mill, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to take a back of my spoon. I'm just going to push it through. And as you can see, that's what we're wanting. We're wanting the juice. So I will do that with the rest of the cranberries, and then I will show you what to do next. I ended up getting about 3 cups of the juice from the cranberries. We're going to go ahead and put that into our pot, and we're going to put in 2 cups of sugar, and we're going to cook it until it reaches the gelling point. Now, the gelling point is when water boils. Water starts to boil at 212 degrees, and we have to add 8 degrees to that. So we will have to boil this until it is 220 degrees. We will need to be using a candy thermometer, so try to have one. It's necessary for this recipe. Here's the candy thermometer. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll get it in the pot. I put the cranberry mixture into the pan. I put it in a little bit of a smaller pan so you can see a little bit better. I've got my candy thermometer. You might want to get one that has a clip if you can, where it can clip onto the sides. You just do not want the thermometer touching the bottom of the pan, because then it will be a different reading than if you just took the actual stuff. So just have it barely into the stuff. And we're just going to go ahead and stir right now. Occasionally, when it starts to boil, then we're going to need to stir all the time. And again, we have to wait until the thermometer gets up to 220 degrees, which is the gelling point. When we see that, then we can go ahead and take the pan off the stove. And then we're going to go ahead and put the cranberry mixture into jars, and we're going to go ahead and water bath it. The cranberry mixture is just starting to boil. It is only at 150. Again, we have to get it up to 220 So we just need to, again, stir. You can stir occasionally right now, but again, when it gets full boil, we need to be stirring constantly because we do not want it to burn on the bottom of the pan. The cranberry mixture is at 190 right now. Again, it has to go to 220. So I've just been stirring constantly now. As you can tell, it has definitely changed. In order to get it to the gelling point, it needs to be coming off like in a sheet. And as you can see right here, it's just running. So clearly, of course, my thermometer is showing correctly. It is definitely not ready. So I'll go ahead and keep on boiling it. It is at 200 degrees right now. And as you can see, it is definitely getting more jelly-like. You know, it's not as liquidy as it was before. Still is drippy. So of course, you know, it still has to get up to the 220. It does take a while. I didn't time it, but I would say at least 30 minutes to get up to there, maybe 40 to get up to the gelling point. But again, it probably depends on what size pan you have and how much liquid you get from those cranberries, how long it's going to take to boil. I got the temperature on the stove not quite medium heat. I did lower it from medium. And as you can tell, it is almost at 209. Again, it needs to get up to the 220, but as you can tell, it is getting better where it's not dripping. You know, again, it has to come out more in a sheet. When it drips, it's getting better. So it is awfully close. It's at 210 degrees Fahrenheit right now. We just have 10 more degrees to go, and as you can see, it is definitely forming nicely, getting gelled. And again, when you see it come off the spoon, it's thicker, which is exactly what we're wanting. It's at 220 degrees right now, so I took it off the stove. As you can see, it is definitely jellied. So now I'll go ahead and get it out and put it into a jar so we can go ahead and water bath it. I ended up getting 3 jars. I need to go ahead and get a pot and put it on the stove. And once the water boils, I will put those 3 jars in and we will water bath them 10 minutes. Hi, we're back. And I ended up getting 3 jars of the cranberry sauce. This is half a jelly jar size. And this one here, this nice decorative one, is almost a jelly jar size. So this size right here is perfect for Christmas gifts for someone when you want to give someone a gift from your heart because it's you know, you did this all yourself rather than buying something in the store. This cranberry sauce will keep on your shelf for at least up to a year or maybe longer. Once opened, you need to store it in the refrigerator, and I usually use it within a month. And then after that, you know, whatever's left in the fridge, I go ahead and pitch it. Now, in this cranberry sauce, you could have put in some spices. Now, when we were boiling it on the stove, trying to get it up to 220 degrees, you could have dropped in a cinnamon stick if you wanted to. And when you were done boiling it and cooking it on the stove, you would have to take that cinnamon stick out before you canned it. You could also use, this is cheesecloth, and I use this. It's real fine to get through. It's kind of like a sieve. And I use this to make jelly. Well, you could cut off a piece or so, make a bag, and you can put in whole cloves in there and then just tie it up with some kitchen twine and drop that in your cranberry sauce when it is cooking. And then again, when it's done boiling, you need to take that out. But this was an excellent way, you know, where you can go ahead and flavor your cranberry sauce. And if you wanted to know where I got the recipe from, it came from the Ball Blue Book canning. And if you haven't, you know, tried any other recipes in here, I encourage you to do so. They've got some really fabulous recipes in here. There's a great pineapple jam in here I make, and I usually give it to my mom. She just loves it, and it's great over ham, the pineapple jam. I know they have a new one out, and I do believe it has the cranberry sauce recipe in it. This one is from 1995, copyrighted. But this is an excellent book if you're learning how to can. I water bathed it 10 minutes, and the first time I had 2 jars seal. So this third one here, I had to take off the seal, take off the ring, and wipe the whole thing down. And then I re-put it back into the pot, and then I water bathed it another 5 minutes. And now it has eventually sealed. So now it will be able to stay on the shelf. Like I said, at least a year or even longer. Well, thank you for watching. This was Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead, and I hope you have a good day.